Okay. Okay, this video is the same thing as the last time. So the ET comes up to me, face to face. It's the last video, sorry. The ET comes up to me, face to face. It's the female one. I open my heart. She comes in. All the fear goes away. She hugs me, and we're off. We're leaving our body. I come back. I'm still nervous. Going through it again. This is about 2 days later from the last video. And we're going up, and we go back up into the stars again to this weird level. Then she starts pointing. This time I'm a little better. I know what's going on. She didn't do anything to me last time, so I guess it's all right. So in spirit, this is spirit, okay? Watch the last video. It's important you watch the last video. There's more detail what's going on. Anyway, she points, and we start heading towards what looks like a bright star. She points, she points, she points. We travel over and over. Pretty soon, we're up against a galaxy, which is, I'm right on the edge of the galaxy, but I have no perception. The stars are really bright. There's a really bright spot in the center, and it's just a wall of really bright stars. But we ain't even close yet. Then I notice there's another little galaxy over to my left, or another group of stars. So I'm looking at that, and I just can't even believe what I'm seeing. And then she points at this one area, and we travel. She points, we travel. She points, we travel. Then we come to this star, and it's really bright. And she points towards the star. Then I see a planet. She points to the planet. Well, I don't even see the planet. She just points, and next thing you know, we're there. We're at this planet, and she points, and we're in orbit of this planet. And I'm like, wow. Now what I'm seeing is this. So we're in like orbit above this planet. I see below a forest. I see an ocean. I see what looks like a very huge, it's more like a continent of green. Okay, like forest green. And I see like a black spot on the right hand side of the forest, a big black spot. And there's this big black spot. To the left, I see in orbit, below us though, what looks like buildings in orbit, because I look to my left and the planet's going like this, and I can see what looks like buildings in orbit. So she points, we come down, we come up closer, and we're standing next to these buildings that are in orbit. And I'm like looking, and there's spaceships stuck to the sides of the buildings. There's some sitting around, just like sitting in space, parked there. And these buildings are all connected through like tube structures. Some are connected real close, some are farther apart. And there's a lot of stuff all connected in these buildings, and it takes up a huge space in the sky. And I'm like, I mean buildings, I mean like huge ass city buildings, like cities. That's how big these things are. And there's spaceships, literally spaceships, stuck to the sides of these buildings, like parked, like they dock on the building. And I'm like, wow. But then she points down, and we go down towards the black spot in the forest of green, and around the forest was the ocean, what I figured was the ocean. So we go down to the black, and it's more, and I'm thinking it's like volcanic, the black volcanic rock, right? But it's all black. And in the black volcanic rock, there's a city in the middle of it. And I never saw that until I got closer. So we get to the city, and she points to the city. So we come down, whoop, and we're above the city. She points again, and we're on a sidewalk. Now, I'm standing on this street, and there's I don't know how to describe it. Let me get it. To the left of me, I'm a nature guy. To the left of me, the first thing I see is this tree, and the tree trunk is the size of a house. But the tree was short, and the tree trunk was huge. I mean, huge. It was sick huge. But it's not like we have out in the West Coast trees, where the tree trunks are huge and they're really, really tall. This was a huge tree trunk, like the size of a house, and huge amount of canopy of leaves and branches off it. And that blew me away. And I remember I was walking on bricks, and I started going up because the tree trunk went, the brick, as it grew, it made the bricks come up, right? And I remember I was stepping on the bricks, and I know it's a stupid thing, but this is what I saw. This is my first thing I saw. I was standing on like a rock road, like you find in England and stuff like that, and it went up, and the roots were growing up through the rock. Not growing up through the rock, but they're pressing the rock up, and it made me, that was cool. So then I looked down the street, and it's a stone street going down, and I'm looking, and there's houses, there's modern stuff mixed with old stuff, and the houses were like boring. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. They're not like our houses. They weren't like our houses. I don't even remember. I can barely remember. I remember the trees. I was looking at the trees a lot. And there were people walking, all kinds of different people walking down these roads. No, it wasn't like downtown LA or something. It was just a couple random people walking. And when we're at where it turns like this, and I'm right at the corner here, and I'm looking, and I can see the trees going off the distance, rock road, people walking, and houses. There's no sidewalk. It was this road house. You open the door and you're on the road. There was no cars, no vehicles, just walking people doing things. And they weren't human. They're bipedal, had 2 arms, 2 legs, but they're all different. Then she points to one of them. And we're right next to this person. And it was, I don't know how it looked like grass or moss. You know what moss looks like? Moss. It was like a person, a moss person. Head, shoulders, 2 arms, 2 legs. And this person's walking, and we're standing there, and I'm going, what the I said to her, the ET that's next to me, I go, what the fuck? What is that? It's like walking moss, really? And I go, what? Describe it. And then she gave me a download. Boom! Right in my head. And the person, the moss, was growing on some kind of fabric, porous fabric. They put this moss on them. Underneath they had skin, and the moss was moist. Okay, I'm trying to remember what she said. This moss suit they were wearing was what's that word? Biologically in sync with them. They needed it. They needed this moss. So as time grew, and they evolved, these people, they wore these moss suits of grass. And the grass was in biosync with them. So the grass depended on them as they depended on the grass. Do you understand? So imagine if I put on a suit of grass. Well, the grass and the moisture and the nutrients grew off my skin, and I absorbed stuff from the moss, and it protected me from the sun and the rays and all that other shit. I don't know. There was that kind of thing. And I'm like, holy shit. So the grass, the moss, and the skin of the person that was wearing it was in harmony. They needed it. Sort of like I don't know. I have nothing else to compare it to. I gotta think, but I'm not. I gotta get on with the rest of this. So anyway, that blew me away when she gave me the information about this species of people that wore the grass suit. It wasn't grass. It was like a wet, thick moss. And They had eyes. As she showed me, she pulled there's a flap that you could put over, and you can see their face. And I looked at her face. I turned around and looked at her face underneath, and it was like a hat. They had moss coming out over top of the eyes to block the sort of, but the skin was like almost clear, like you could see underneath your skin, the flesh, like the muscle tissue and stuff underneath the skin, because there was no color. It was just like clear, but it wasn't. It was sort of milky, almost clear, but milky, like milky white texture, half and half, you know, sort of thing. Anyway, 2 eyes, nose, and mouth, but really weird face, and that's all you can see. So they're in biosync with this grass. Their body needed it, and the grass needed it. So it was like worked together. So that blew me away. Then she pointed me to another direction. I looked down the street the other way, and there was down the street there was a tube with all this high-tech tube. So we walked down. She pointed to it. We didn't walk. We zoomed over to it, and we walked in this tube-like structure. And the doors opened up. People went in. It was like a subway, but it was all enclosed. And to the left, and it was a hallway, and then the tube train would come. There's a tube. And all electrical, everything, like magnetics, all free energy shit. I can describe it, but I got no time. So anyway, I looked down the left, and it was huge. It was like a train station, but it was huge. And it went on for like damn near to the horizon, this train station. And so, I don't think we got on the train. But she pointed down the hallway, and it went way down there. Like, you know how we have the subway, where you go from one station to another station? Well, it was like the whole subway was one station, but you traveled in the station. Do you understand? So she pointed way down the hallway, and we flew down there, and we come to a door. And there's doors and all kinds of stuff. People, you wouldn't even believe. She opens the door, and it opens up. Then we go into a room. Then we go in another room, and it's a classroom. And it's like an auditorium. There's a stage where the teachers sit. Then there's all these seats, and there's desks. There was desks where they sat at, but they had holograms instead of computers. Okay? It was holograms on each desk. So, and they had a bunch of shit I couldn't understand. Anyway, it was a glass dome. We were in a glass dome. And outside it was raining. And I could see the rain hitting on the glass. And the wind was picking up, and leaves and stuff started sticking to the glass dome. And all these people in there. So we went down to the stage, and I guess the teacher, I forgot what he looked like, but the teacher was there, and he was teaching the class. And then I was walking up, and I saw this one, and there were all different races. Almost everyone in there was a different race, but there was like, a couple from the same race. And then I came up to this one, and he was like totally black, like shiny black, gloss black. And I walked up to him, and I'm looking at him, I'm looking right in, looking at him, and he had like armor on. He had like imagine glossy hockey equipment or football equipment all over his head, all over his neck, his shoulders, his arms, his body. He had no clothes. It was all like this shiny black armor. And I asked her, I go, what the fuck is that? And she, I didn't say, laugh, but I go, what? And she goes, and she gave me the information of this species, and it was all exoskeleton. This guy had a shiny black exoskeleton. It was like chunks of armor stuck all over him. He was like a lobster man. That's what he was. He was like a lobster, but a bipedal lobster. And he's working on a hologram on his desk with the teacher. And it was like a big school where all these people from different races came to learn stuff. Then, I don't know what she showed me after that. I can't remember too much. Oh, I wanted to go outside and look. Because I saw something running around. I went up on the stage and I was looking out the window. And I saw like a little critter running around in the woods out there. So I went and tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. That's what I want. I really like that stuff. So, animals on different planets. I just love to do that. Anyway, she takes me back, then we fly up in the air, and she tells me about the black. And I go, is that volcanic? And I got, yeah, it's volcanic. But she said, I saw a couple more little city-like things out in the forest. She goes, they don't build in the forest. There's no deforestation. They built on the black basalt or whatever the hell it is, volcanic rock. They built on the volcanic rock. This city. They built it on the city so as not to destroy the forest. Okay? I thought, wow, my heart just went, wow. They totally respected the forest. They didn't even cut down any trees or anything. They didn't bulldoze a forest. They just built it on the rock where there was no forest, and they all lived there. You can go in the forest, you can do all that stuff and fly around and do all, but they didn't destroy the forest. I thought that was huge, man. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Then I go, what the fuck is that over there? So she showed me. So we went over to where the ships and the shuttles and spaceships and all kinds of weird things that were flying around. Little ones, huge ones. Then I went to the ones who had craft stuck on the side of the building. And the building was like, I don't know, oblong. Sort of like a hot dog, like a fat hot dog bun on the top and on the bottom. And it was all glass. Like, imagine a big hot dog floating in space with a bunch of glass and things stuck all over it. But inside was a city, a small city. So we went inside there, and she basically said, this building and all the other buildings that are floating in orbit, in geo-orbit of this major city, because there were ships going from the city to these other cities. And she goes, inside, the students that come to learn cannot live or breathe or cannot survive in the atmosphere of the planet. So they have to go into a separate atmosphere, a made atmosphere, that's quality controlled atmosphere, so they can learn inside this biosphere, which is like a classroom, like a whole city. But they live there, and they go to school there, but they have to be in this environment. Now, it's just sort of like a Star Trek thing, right? For whatever reason, something would hurt them down that planet, so they had different cities. So for all the different races that qualified to come to this planet to learn whatever they're learning, they couldn't come to that planet to go to the university on the planet, so they went to these specially made ones where the atmosphere is programmed and they can live in it happily. Be it radiation, heat, weather, disease, I don't know. But they're all different races, and each race had their own biosphere to go there. Which I assume they had their own planet, which they came here to learn, but anyway. Then she starts pulling me out. We turn around, we starts pointing me back. And then we got back, not back to not back to the solar system or the sun. I pointed and I go, I know what that is. I just knew it. I know what that is. And I go, it's Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda. And yep, Andromeda. So And then I went on the internet and looked how far away it was. And it was like 68 or 86 or some million light years away. And I'm like, boom. Light years. I go, yeah, spirit years is a lot easier. But, you know, they can travel there too in their ship. So, anyway, I thought that was funny as hell. So that's the second time the ET took me out of my body to that certain level and showed me something cool. Now, those are a couple cool things I saw. There was more, but I can't remember. It wasn't as important. But how's that for society? Hundreds of different species walking around, doing their thing. Nobody yelling at each other. Nobody bitching at each other. No one even has a rotten expression on their face. No violence, no nothing. Everything's supplied. Food, water, habitat, whatever. If you want to go to school. Everything's supplied. All of it. Just follow the rules and you're all good. Have a good time. And the rules are basically, I don't know. But it's all supplied. As long as you're doing something, you get supplied. That's what I saw. And I got more about that to say in another. As I had more experiences, I learned a lot more about their how they do it, live their society. And I learned a lot more. When it's all coming up, it just takes a lot of time to say it all. So, that is just one planet. One. That this race that's contacted me showed me where they're involved. And I think what it was yes, the last video where I went to the Shell Stadium thing was like a way planet. It wasn't their home planet. They don't have a home planet. They went and colonized other planets where they set up shop. And that was a set up shop one. But it wasn't the main one. They had little set-up shops all over the place. Planets where they set up habitation. That was one of their planets. Her species that was contacting me. But it was like a science planet where everybody came to learn higher stuff. Be it whatever. Technology. It was a big giant school. The whole thing. Nobody's shooting, nobody's killing, all these races are getting along just fine. And none of them, as far as I knew, had any religion. There was only one law, universal law, Christ consciousness, or natural law. Call it whatever you want. No religion. She actually told me, when I asked her, 15 years earlier, I asked the ETs, what's your religion? And they go, religion is an earth insanity. But Christ consciousness is just universal law. But Christ is a teacher to teach us within Christ consciousness to move up in consciousness and spirit and harmony to the divine. Just like the ETs are doing. Call it universal consciousness. What I saw on that planet was universal consciousness. They're all getting along. I'm sure they have their little bitch face. Man, you stink today. You know, fucking take a shower. That type of shit. But they aren't running around with guns going, fuck, I don't like your exoskeleton. Cutting fucking throats and heads off. Okay? Do you get what I'm saying? It's totally different, man. So now, that'll give you some, these two videos, these two experiences I have will give you their spiritual development and their technological development from what we are today. And you can look at it. That's what I do. I feel it inside. And I got more to come, like stuff I'm going to learn about me with them, where I came from spiritually with them. Wow. And how I came about it is even mind-blowing for me. But I only got a couple minutes left on this video, so I'm going to end it. But I'll give you a context of where they're at spiritually, technologically, in the physical, how they work the spiritual through the physical, why they showed me all this, and I'm making these damn videos now. No one will watch them. We'll get 50 hits in a year. I don't care. I'm still not wearing no pink shirt and being a soy boy walking around with all these new agey freaks. It's never gonna happen. So, sorry. Anyway, this is what happened. That's what I saw. That was my experience. For me, it's golden, solid, 100% true. No mental bullshit. It's all good. And that's that. So, later.